Alright guys, so today's day 2, measuring segments and angles. This is the first of 2 parts. We're going to start with measuring segments. Yesterday's lesson we talked about a rule or a postulate. So every point on a line can be paired with a real number called coordinate. And so if you are measuring segment length, and this should be a review, if A is at 1 and B is at 8, then the length of segment AB is 7 units. If X is at -4 and Y is at 6, then the length of XY is 10 units. It should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy review for you guys. I have a couple problems for you to work on in the workbook. But where this comes into play for geometry is that we can break segments apart and then put them back together. And so if I have a line segment with 3 points, A, B, and C, and B is between A and C, so before I do anything, let's go ahead and just draw a picture. It's my number 1 rule to follow. If this is A, B, and C, then if I take AB and add it to BC, then if I take this, so if this is 3 units and this is 5 units, when I add them together, I'll get 8. Well, it's the same thing. If this is AB and this is BC, when I add them together, I get whatever AC is. So we practice that. So take a minute and see if you can figure out the answer to these 2 questions. Pause the video right now, and then when you're done, we'll check the answers. Okay, so hopefully you got 10.1 centimeters when you added these 2 together. And then this one was a little bit tricky. If you got 24.7, I understand. But again, it comes down to, if this is the first piece and this is the second piece, I have to add these 2 together to get 15. So I should have had 5.3 millimeters. Okay. Where this gets tricky, and this is the only time geometry gets tricky, is they throw algebra into it. So it says, find the value of the variable in KL if K is between J and L. So we're going to draw a picture. J, K, L. It says JK is 6x, KL is 3x. And then it says the whole thing is 27. So you ask yourself, what does this mean? Well, again, let's go back up to here. If I take this and add it to this, it's equal to the whole picture. So what 2 things am I going to add together to get 27? I'm going to add 6x and 3x. So 9x is equal to 27 because I did 6x plus 3x. And so then x is equal to 3. Now, that's not all they told me to do. I found the value of the variable, but they want me to plug it back in. So if I plug in 3 for x, KL is equal to 9. And even though it didn't ask me to do it, I'm going to go ahead and do this. JK is equal to 18. Okay. Hopefully you understood what we did there. If you didn't, pause the video and take a look back at it again. But I want you to try these 2 problems. It's the same setup. You just may have different rules to what to set equal to each other. So pause the video, try these 2. Then when you unpause it, you'll see my work. Okay, so here you can see I did 4x plus 6, 7x plus 15. I added them together. I got 11x plus 21. That's equal to 120. I solved for x. I got x is equal to 9. KL was equal to 78 when I plugged it back in. JK is equal to 42. Number 3. Notice I put the information out of order. I did that on purpose to see if you would pay attention. 2x goes here. X plus 2 goes here. So then when you add 2 together, you get 3x plus 2 is equal to 5x minus 10. Subtract 3x, add 10, I get 2x is equal to 12. X is equal to 6. If x is equal to 6, then jk is equal to 12. KL is equal to 8. And JL is equal to 20. Which makes sense because 12 plus 8 is 20. Alright. If you missed something, go back, take a look at what I did, make sure you understand, because you will have classwork that mirrors this exactly. When two segments have the same length, then the segments are congruent. This is a new word. It does not mean equal. Highlight it. You will hear it a lot. You will see it a lot. The symbol for congruent is an equal sign with a sideways S on top of it. Okay, so the segments are congruent. A point line array that intersects at the midpoint is said to be congruent, is said to bisect the segment. So if I have a line, just like we've been doing in the past, and there's a point in the middle, and we say that that point is the midpoint. So if we say B is the midpoint, that means that AB is congruent to BC. And so whatever's on the left is equal to whatever's on the right. And we would call B a segment bisector. And so if AB is 20 units, then BC is 20 units. If AB is 4x, then BC is 4x. And you can see with algebra, whatever's on the left, we can set it equal to whatever's on the right. Let's review that real quick. First thing I'll have you doing is finding the midpoint of each segment. Well, if D is at 0 and E is at 2, what's the middle of 0 and 2? 1. If B is at negative 7 and D is at 0, well, what's the middle of that? Well, that gets interesting. Because if we're here, if I go over 1, 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 uh-oh, the middle is actually right here. So we're going to go ahead and say that that's negative 3.5. So make sure you understand, in order to find the midpoint, really all you have to do is you take your x-coordinate, you add it to the other x-coordinate, and you divide by 2. That's essentially what we did there. So if negative 7 plus 0 is negative 7, negative 7 divided by 2 is negative 3.5. And hope you guys remember that from middle school. What is the measure of BC if B is in the middle of AC? Well, 4x minus 5, that's not a set number. 2x plus 11, that's not a set number. But remember, we said that these two things are congruent to each other. So what can I do with these two pieces? Oh, that's right. Good old algebra. I can set them equal to each other. And then I can follow my old rules to solve. So 2x is equal to 16. X is equal to 8. Now, of course, like we've talked about, you're going to have to take this and plug it back in. So if plug in 8, BC is equal to 27. But that means the AB should also be equal to 27. 4 times 8 minus 5, that's also 27. And then I can figure out that the whole line is equal to 54. Cut. In class we'll go over the problems, but for day 2 with the line segments, it's page 11, 1 through 17, and page 13, 1 through 5. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to do those problems. Now that you finished watching this video, make sure you understand the notes and move on to the angle video for the same lesson.